Guys, I had a young man named Matt Coronato over the weekend. Have you been keeping a lot of tabs on his game with Harbour?
It's been hard this year. I've only seen him play live once, and that was before the COVID shut down the World Junior in Red Deer last year. So we've seen the one game, U.S. and Slovaks. So there's some pretty good players.
Do you know what the plan might be for bringing him into the fold here and helping him adjust?
Yeah, I think just kind of ease into it. I think he's traveling today, so we'll just see the next little while how get him in, get him on the ice, get him around the guys.
When you get a young player, whether it's Coronato or any other young player you've had in your career, what are you looking for in them in terms of their on-ice and off-ice adjustments before you feel they're ready to be put into a lineup?
Well, they're probably not ready.
Oh, right.
If you're the difference if you're a senior or think about it, he's a sophomore at school, so it just gives him a jump start on his on his season coming. What it does, for sure.
But more generally, like not necessarily with like a college player, or if there is a difference, I guess.
I think just getting to know him. It's hard there's no, unless a player here played with him somewhere or a coach seen him somewhere. Heck, I'd probably have had a longer visit with his dad than I have with Matt himself. So just getting him here and it's not so much. I guess it is us getting to know him, but also him just getting comfortable with the whole. That's the advantage of having two teams in Calgary, right? Big advantage.
Daryl, understanding it was just one night, what were your impressions when you made that trip up to Red Deer?
Last year?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a competitive, skilled player is what he is, right? There's similarities to, he's kind of in that Mange, I think, similar type. I think he's got really good instincts for the offense, that part of the game. He's played this year. They played him a lot at center this year, but I think he was, when he was drafted, he was looked on more as a winger, right winger.
Tomorrow's Pride Night. I don't think any of us have been able to see the jersey yet, but have you seen it? What do you think?
Yeah, I
of
seen
it?
him this morning when I came in.
What do you think?
I think it's a local artist, isn't it? Looks pretty good because they put in some of the Alberta. I think there was the wild rose in there and some birds. So it looked pretty good.
Is the plan right now for everyone on the team to wear them for
Oh,
warm-ups?
yeah. They'll wear them.
Has there been a discussion about that in the room?
I haven't heard. You'd have to ask guys, but I don't think it's been a real issue for our team at all.
You've said in the past that you would welcome an open player on your team. How do you think a queer player, an open player, would fare in today's
Yeah, I
NHL?
think I look at the whole spectrum, the whole big picture of it. Right? You got to remember when I first started playing, it was all Canadian. So anything outside that was when there might have been one Swede in the league, or one or two Russians, or one or two black guys, like that sort of thing. So that was looked on then as that was coming in sort of. So now it's totally. I think teams are pretty acceptable to everything now.
What do you hope
Receptive.
What do you hope that your team wearing these jerseys tomorrow signifies to a queer fan?
No, I think all it signifies is that everything is accepted, right? We accept them as fans. That's what we're doing.
Daryl, has Nazem Kadri's game started to trend in the right direction?
Yeah, you know what? I just think with Naz, it's just it goes. The season for everything with Naz and the summer and the season has been a race, right? And I think you even see him today. You get these 2 days and you see more energy again out of him, and it's got nothing to do with anything else. It's not about his compete or what some guys want to get put in there. It's got nothing to do with that. It's just got to Naz get the energy back and at the age where he is, where he's.
How much do you think his short summer last year?
It's got a lot to do with it. Guys don't train. I mean, only reason I can say about it because I see it was firsthand, right? Stanley Cup, conference final, Stanley Cup, I seen it, right? And then the fourth year we didn't make the playoffs. It had nothing to do with It's the same. It was the same type of thing with Naz, right? Those guys just gave everything they had, and that's all they had left, right? So he went through that run, and then being a free agent and all that. So, and everybody wants to cause a but it's totally, that's so off base, right? It's just strictly getting the guy's energy back.
Well, how important is it, I think, even coming especially from you, for people to understand that it's one thing to have a first-round pick, it's another thing to have a McDavid or
Way
like,
different.
there's a huge difference, right?
Way different. Like if you're a lottery player, then there's some pressure. But after that, it's 3-4 years, for sure. I mean, you just do it. The percentages show it. I mean, it's not. I mean, that's the way it works.
And is most of the time the big challenge, because I see it all the time, is it's one thing if you have some offensive gifts, it's another thing to get to the point, isn't it, where you can trust somebody in all areas?
100%. I mean, that's, the Flames haven't had a high first-round pick for a long time. So when they just say first round, they go, well, you forget it's 32 players in the first round. Used to be not 32. They were expected to play by the time they were 20 or 21. Now it's quite a bit different.
Is there a bigger adjustment coming out of college than out of junior?
I'm not sure, other than I think it depends where they're at and how long they stay in school, right? So you just think about age. If you're coming out as just do it yourself, like when you were 23 compared to when you were 20, I bet it was a big difference. Or 24, you look at a guy like Walker Duer, went 4 years school, comes out, you put him in that young guy's group, but he's 26. So there's a big difference between a 21 and a 22-year-old and a 26-year-old.
So, Darryl, when you talk about, Matt Coronato's coming out after his sophomore season, he's still only 20, and you talk about setting himself up sort of for next season. What should be on the checklist for the next however many weeks that he can take away from this first taste of it?
I think number one is picking somebody out that you can really emulate. You get guys like Tyler and guys like that. So if he's a right winger, I mean, that would be a pretty good. I'd be watching Tyler Toffoli for sure. And when you ask that question, that's really similar to when in LA, when we used to bring Tyler and Tanner up, call them up and not play them, just watch Dustin Brown, watch Justin Williams, those types of players, right? Learn from them, and then see how they prepare, see how they train, see how they practice, and then take the next step. It's really good. It's really good for the young man. I think it's just to get climatized. Gives them a leg up, right?
Looking ahead to tomorrow, what have the Kings done this season to be so tough to play against?
They've improved. I mean, it's not this season. I mean, they took Edmonton 7 last year without Drew Doughty. So right there is a pretty good. Hey, they stripped it down, kept great leadership, and drafted really high and really well. And then I think once they've got to a point where they think that they are a contender, then they went out and like they signed Dano and trade for Fiala, and it just kind of goes like that's how you do it, right? So they had the good run, and then you start again. They've done a really good job of it. I mean, I don't think it's a this year thing at all. It's a progression. It's clear. I said it this summer, and Moore should have listened to me. I said about the division. Who are the two teams that are going to take big jumps? Edmonton, LA, right? Vegas gets healthy.